guys. Welcome to our debate for SPCE 619. We are from Ball State University, and I'd like to start by introducing myself. My name is Jessica Williams, and I have been in the ABA field for about 2 years now.
My name is Jada Asher, and I have been in ABA since 2021.
Hi, I'm Kristen Williamson. I've been in the field for 6 years now.
I'm Brianna Shockley. I have been in the field for 5 years.
I'm Brianna Schwinn. I've been in the field for 2.5 years.
So our topic that we're going to be discussing today is the right to exercise personal liberties versus the need for habilitation. For our informal debate roles today, I will be doing the introduction and conclusion.
I'm going to be doing the need for habilitation, summarizing, and fielder.
I will be doing the need for habilitation research and illustration.
I will be doing the rights to personal liberties as a summarizer and fielder.
And I'm going to be doing the rights to personal liberties researcher and illustrator.
I'd like to begin our debate by providing an introduction to both sides of our topic and how they are relevant to individuals with developmental disabilities. So, what is habilitation? According to a paper published in 1990 by Bannerman et al., habilitation involves teaching skills to help an individual live as independently as possible. These independent living skills are aimed at increasing an individual's overall quality of life. In order to provide individuals with efficient habilitation, often practitioners have a profound amount of control over their client's life. This may include the client's goals that are selected, what their schedule looks like, and how much access they have to their preferred items or activities. Standards for habilitation were put in place by our government to ensure individuals with developmental disabilities were receiving effective treatment after a long history of inadequate services. However, the standards put into place for habilitation are often criticized because they do not reflect a client's preferences. Client preferences, including a client's right to choose or refuse treatment, are considered their personal liberties. These choices may include the right to be left alone, the right to do what one pleases, or as Bannerman's 1990 paper stated, the right to eat too many donuts and take a nap. Personal liberties are valued by any individual regardless of their abilities. As future practitioners within the field of ABA, it is important that we fully understand both sides of this topic. We must ask ourselves which side is important. Do both sides deserve our consideration? How can I provide effective treatment that meets habilitative standards? How can I honor my client's personal liberties? I'd like to share with you guys 2 codes from the BACB Ethics Code that I think are especially relevant to our topic. The first code is 2.01 entitled Providing Effective Treatment, and it states that behavior analysts prioritize clients' rights and needs in service delivery. They provide services that are conceptually consistent with behavioral principles based on scientific evidence and are designed to maximize desired outcomes for and protect all clients, stakeholders, supervisees, trainees, and research participants from harm. Behavior analysts implement non-behavioral services with clients only if they have the required education, formal training, and professional credentials to deliver such services. This code highlights the importance of BCBAs providing effective treatment to their clients that minimize the risk of harm. The second code is 2.09 involving clients and stakeholders, and it states that behavior analysts make appropriate efforts to involve clients and relevant stakeholders throughout the service relationship, including selecting goals, selecting and designing assessments and behavior change interventions, and conducting continual progress monitoring. This code highlights the importance of clients and stakeholders being an active participant in the therapy that they receive. Clearly, the issue of the right to personal liberties and the need for habilitation extends to our field. On the next slide, we'll discuss on the next few slides, we'll discuss both of these topics in more detail.
Habilitation programs are designed to assist individuals with disabilities in achieving greater independence, improving their quality of life, and managing their health conditions. These programs teach a range of skills from self-care and mobility to communication and social interaction that can help individuals live more fulfilling lives. Through habilitation, individuals can develop the skills they need to perform daily tasks such as managing personal care routines, cooking, taking public transportation, or holding a job. By gaining greater independence, they can also participate more fully in their communities and experience a higher quality of life. Funding for habilitation services is tied to meeting specific standards to ensure that programs are effective and tailored to the individual's needs. The legal right to habilitation services was established in the landmark court case of Young versus Romeo in 1982, which aimed to prevent unnecessary restrictions on a person's freedom. Overall, habilitation is an essential concept in empowering people with disabilities to live fulfilling lives. The legal framework surrounding it helps ensure that services are available to meet quality standards, which are essential for ensuring the safety and well-being of individuals with disabilities. Habilitation programs are a crucial means of support for individuals with disabilities, providing them with necessary skills and tools to lead independent and fulfilling lives. These programs are designed to help people with a wide range of disabilities, including physical, intellectual, and developmental disabilities. They focus on developing skills such as self-care, mobility, communication, and social interaction, which are essential for daily living community participation. The primary goal of habilitation programs is to provide support that enables individuals with disabilities to gain greater independence, manage their health conditions, and improve their overall quality of life. Through these programs, people can learn how to carry out daily tasks such as personal care routines, preparing meals, using public transportation, and securing and maintaining a job, thereby enhancing their ability to live independently and participate more actively in their communities. Habilitation programs are essential in empowering individuals with disabilities to live these fulfilling lives. The legal framework surrounding these services helps ensure that they are available and meet quality standards, which are crucial for ensuring the safety and well-being of individuals with disabilities. By providing individuals with disabilities the tools they need to live independently, habilitation programs play an essential role in promoting greater inclusion and equality in our communities.
All right, to back it up, in the study, they discuss how children with intellectual disabilities have significant deficits in intellectual and adaptive functioning skills by Olson and L. There are many habilitation services out there, and depending on the severity, functional limitations, age, and more will depend on what services are utilized by families. Studies show that with increasing age, the utilization of habilitation services decline. It's important to know that habilitation services can be given to both children and adults. Statistics state that children who are integrated into mainstream classes were statistically less likely to utilize other habilitational services in comparison to children who attend special classes. Ensuring that we utilize the habilitation services out there, it is important so that the children can excel in mainstream classes. There are several services that help individuals target skills and abilities that they may not be able to develop on their own. The type of services individuals may come into contact include, but are not limited to, in-home or residential habilitation, These services help those who require support while living on their own or in their own communities. They aim to help develop and improve skills such as social and functional living skills associated with daily living. There's supportive living. This helps clients who have or exhibit more challenging behaviors and may need more comprehensive approach in a controlled environment. This service helps those who are living outside of their own homes. There's career counseling. So these services can help those with developmental disabilities in a work environment to help them learn skills and help them explore various career paths. This helps boost their skills to find a job and may be the most crucial step towards adult living in an independent life. There's also day habilitation. So these services help those during the day with supervision and develop their daily living and social skills. They focus on communication and behavioral skills to improve their well-being and social greetings. This table is from the article of Habilitation Services Utilization Patterns Among Children with Mild Intellectual Disabilities, demonstrated that the common services that are provided and are in some individuals utilize more than just one type of service. The need for habilitation is important because without services, individuals might not be able to learn those skills that are required to exercise their rights to personal liberties.
Okay, the right to exercise personal liberties. Regardless of the level of ability, every person has the right to exercise personal liberties. Decision making has no boundaries, or should I say, should have no boundaries. Individuals with disabilities deserve the right to make choices in their treatment as well as in their everyday life. It has been studied and proven that the problem behaviors are seen less often when individuals have the right to choose. To be exact, the article that Brianna will be covering says that the subjects who control an aspect of an adversive situation reported less discomfort and had less extreme autonomic responding than subjects who received the same stimulus but had no control over it. For example, being able to choose the duration of an activity or even terminating the adversive activity reduces the problem behaviors of the individual with disabilities. This has nothing, oh, just kidding. This has to do with decision making and making choices and having the right to do so. The choice to treatment, the choice to food, the choice of clothes, and the choice of activities all contribute to the individual making the most out of their life. Many people talk about the lack of things individuals with disabilities engage with over the course of days, months, years. Is this due to the lack of opportunity or the lack of choice? It can be very easily said to be both. When there are opportunities of choice for the individual, they participate in more activities. How often are individuals with disabilities included in such choices or opportunities? Individuals with disabilities enjoy having the choice of doing those things. This goes into the legal aspects of personal liberties. Everyone has the right to a variety of options and get to choose whatever they would like to do. This does not exclude individuals with disabilities. There are many ways to include individuals with disabilities in the decision-making process. An example of this would be conducting surveys or gathering information from online forums. The decision-making process is not limited to humans. The article that was previously stated in this did a study of the effects of choice amongst others. It was proven that the effects of choice are not just limited to humans. Throughout nature and other living beings, choices arise and are made, which is very similar to the way that humans make decisions. If animals are affected by choice and the ability to do so, who's to say that persons with disabilities cannot also make decisions? The disability does not define the individual and their ability to make and the right to exercise personal liberties.
To back it up, a quote that I liked from a research article entitled Empowerment and Decision Making for Autistic People in Research was from people in the autism community that says, "Nothing about us without us." This was a great way to look at the importance of including people with disabilities in their own decision making for their treatment. Human rights have always been intended to apply to people with disabilities on the same basis as others. Personal liberty is a foundational value of common law and our constitutional arrangements for everyone. The legal context of personal liberty implies that people should have a variety of available options and be free to choose between those options. Standards for payment for skilled nursing and intermediate care facilities Facility Services from 1998 not only states that clients that have the right to make choices, but require that the staff provide opportunities for choice. The choices given can be what chair to sit in, what activities to participate in, what snacks to eat, etc. There are so many ways to include persons with disabilities in the decision-making process of their care. A study by Schuler and Jones concluded that giving adolescents the choice of what job they want to complete increased their engagement and performance. According to an article by Bannerman, problem behaviors occur less frequently when an individual has an opportunity to make choices. A study conducted by researchers at the University of Arizona supports this. The study concluded that the effects of preference and choices alongside attention significantly decreased problem behaviors in an 11-year-old boy in a school setting. For some background information on the study, the participant in the study was Reggie. He was the 11-year-old boy. Reggie attended a public elementary school and a program for children with severe disabilities. His problem behaviors included making a loud, high-pitched noise, hitting peers, throwing objects, laying on the floor, running, biting, and spitting. His problem behaviors were severe, and the school district was considering removing him from the program he was in. An intervention plan was implemented that included giving Reggie preference assessments and choices between both preferred and non-preferred activities. He was able to choose between 3 activities, either preferred or non-preferred, and the study determined that giving the preference assessments significantly decreased his behaviors. It was reported by staff that Reggie engaged in desirable behaviors most of the time and was even able to stay on task. This is just one research article out of many that examine the positive effects of giving choices has. Lastly, the value of choices are not just limited to humans. The Bannerman article summarizes studies that indicate rats and pigeons also prefer to have choices, and performance increases when they do. This ties together the importance of personal liberties being of value for everyone. Personal liberties overall promote independence in persons with disabilities and should be honored.
Okay, on this slide, we decided to put a couple images in. This first image with the puzzle piece and everything, it touched on, the article from this was in the UK, but it touched on how people with ASD don't have a lot of rights, and I felt like this was very fitting for like both sides of things, for standing up for people with disabilities. And so somebody created this art just to kind of stand with the side of people with disabilities and giving them the rights of typical people. And then the other one is art from a long time ago about whenever personal liberties came about in the United States as a whole, like for everyone.
Sorry. Okay, guys. So I would like to conclude our debate by briefly summarizing some of the key pros and cons from both sides, and discuss how habilitation and personal liberties may coexist within a treatment plan to provide our clients with effective care that honors their preferences. So, on the habilitation side, the pros include promoting independent living skills, ensuring quality treatment is given, which may lead the individual to having a better quality of life. And cons for habilitation: clients' preferences may be disregarded in lieu of skills that the practitioner deems appropriate. Clients' motivation may be impacted by their inability to choose how they spend their time and what their schedule looks like. And so, pros for personal liberties include protecting a client's right to choose or refuse treatment. Without having choices, a client's motivation may decline and lead to little progress being made on their behalf. Cons for personal liberties include a client making bad choices, such as choosing to take the bus independently and getting lost because the skill may not be within their repertoire. Another example might be a client who chooses to rely on others for self-help skills, such as brushing their teeth because it's easier for them. These choices may be counterproductive to them living independently. A major con for personal liberties may include an individual choosing to spend time engaging in harmful behaviors to themselves or others. Oftentimes, we see that our clients do not have it within their repertoire to make independent choices because they do not fully comprehend the consequences of their actions. So, what does this mean for us as future practitioners? As future practitioners, we are then tasked with ensuring that our clients receive quality and effective treatment, but that also honors our clients' preferences. We have identified a few ways as a group in which we think that we can bridge the gap between the need for habilitation and the right to personal liberties, one of which may be embedding choice making into our clients' habilitation plans. By teaching our clients how to make choices, we may honor their personal liberties and set them up for a new level of independence in which they can express their wants and needs. Another strategy may be to build a habilitation plan around the skills that your client wants to learn, so their interests. For example, a client with a strong preference to be able to take the bus independently should work toward those prerequisite skills that facilitate this. Whenever possible, our clients and their stakeholders should be involved in the decision making process for their intervention plan. Preference assessments are another way in which we can ensure personal liberties are being taken into account in our habilitation plans. So, by providing preferred items and activities to choose from, we are establishing an MO before placing demands on our clients. Lastly, a client schedule should be flexible in that it allows for clients to have days in which they do things like eat too many donuts or take a nap. A client schedule should never be too rigid to the point that they are not given the same freedoms as everyone else. So, to summarize this, the need for habilitation and the right to personal liberties need not be treated like they can't coexist. The codes listed within our introduction from the BACB Ethics Code, specifically codes 2.01 providing effective treatment and code 2.09 involving clients and stakeholders. These emphasize a client's rights to effective treatment and their rights to make choices. So those can go hand in hand. These codes, along with laws and regulation that are in place for habilitation and personal liberties, provides us with necessary evidence to conclude that both sides are equally important and should be embedded within the future services we provide. And so lastly, we are going to move on to our Q&A. And we have a few questions here. So the first question, I'll direct this at Jada. So this is over the topic rights to exercise personal liberties. So Jada, how do we define acceptable levels of risk when balancing personal freedoms and potential harm? And at what point does a choice become so dangerous it necessitates intervention?
I think, well, for the second point, because I feel like it's best addressed first. So when choice becomes harmful to themselves, the individual as themselves, as well as peers, if it interferes with their learning, that's when the intervention is needed in that point. When the level of risk, that would have to depend person by person because they're all so different. And it would be based off of observation, and then after that, operational definition would be best suitable for that per client, for individual, because they all vary and the level of risk can be different for each individual.
Okay, thank you, Jada. That was a great response. Need for habilitation side, I'm going to direct this one at Brianna. And so, Brianna, the question is, shouldn't individuals be given the tools and skills to live as independently and productively as possible? And then how does habilitation contribute to a better quality of life?
So the habilitation programs are going to continue teaching those skills for daily living, such as getting dressed, preparing meals, learning to manage finances, and then just using public transportation, getting out into the community as a whole. The independence allows for them to participate more actively and making their own choices. So even though they're living in a habilitation like community, they're still learning those skills and keeping up and like being able to generalize those skills across many different areas. This helps them better overall sense of well-being and really allowing them to live their life to their fullest on their own terms.
Yeah, going
Okay.
off of Bree, what she said, if I mean, looking at her backing it up, these habilitation services are used for those individuals to learn how to choose for themselves. So if we don't have those habilitational services in place for them to learn, they don't, most, not all, won't have the ability to make those decisions or choose for themselves. So I think all of the habilitation services have a very powerful effect on any client.
Right. So then it's our job as practitioners to make sure that embedded in our habilitation plan, we are teaching clients to make choices.
And that they're continuing to teach them. I mean, once you learn the skill, the goal is to be able to generalize it into multiple settings. But
Right.
it's also like we need to keep up with that skill and make sure it's maintained throughout their life. So these habilitation facilities, whatever you want to call them, they're going to continue to do that. And if they need to reintroduce a skill, then that skill will be introduced. They keep up with the treatment plans. They do BIPs or behavioral intervention plans. They work directly with clients every day, helping them live the best of their ability.
Okay. All right. Awesome, guys. So our next slide is just a list of our references. That's all we have for you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank